Caitlin Clark is really just taking over the damn golf world.
Did you see what just happened at the Masters? Caitlin Clark not only showed up, but stole the spotlight, as evidenced by her feature on the Masters official YouTube channel, and golf.com tweets about her presence.
It is my understanding, and this was some kind of a promotion going on as part of NetJets.
But there's one unexpected twist that sets this event apart. Clark revealed something about the Masters that most people don't talk about, the phone-free atmosphere that creates a totally different fan experience. She explained how this connects to her own need to escape the basketball pressure, just like Steph Curry does. The crossover excited fans from both sports worlds.
But Caitlin Clark, of course, is there, and a lot is coming out about the Indiana Fever, the WNBA star, the biggest star in women's sports, in my opinion.
You're about to see a side of the Masters and Caitlin Clark that changes everything. Caitlin Clark showed up and completely changed the game. And I'm not talking about golf. The basketball superstar who's been dominating headlines walked onto the hallowed grounds of Augusta National, and suddenly everyone was talking about her presence instead of just the tournament itself.
You're seeing her go and be used by other sports to push to the other sports, to promote the other sports. And that's what the WNBA should be doing.
Clark has a deeper connection to golf than many realize. She's been actively engaging with the golf community for years, including participating in the Annika Pro-Am tournament in Florida. This reveals her as a genuine sports enthusiast who appreciates the game's nuances and traditions, rather than a celebrity making a random appearance for publicity.
She attended the round 2 of the Masters. She played in 2 Pro-Ams this offseason. Yeah, she's going to do the Annika again.
The reaction to her presence created a fascinating dynamic. Golf purists questioned why a basketball player garnered such attention at golf's most prestigious event, yet this precise tension highlights the significance of this cultural crossover. When have women's basketball and golf ever shared the spotlight so prominently?
Number one, let's just start here. How about this photo right here? Noah Kahan, Jim Nance, the legendary Jim Nance, who, of course, is flawless calling the Masters. Caitlin Clark right here, and Peyton Manning.
Augusta's images captured the essence of this moment. Clark stood alongside Peyton Manning and legendary broadcaster Jim Nance, appearing perfectly at ease. These photos cascaded across social media platforms like a tidal wave bridging 2 distinct sporting shores. One particularly viral image showed Clark chatting with golf royalty, garnering thousands of shares within hours. Even golf.com acknowledged her impact, tweeting about her presence during round 2, like a prestigious country club unexpectedly welcoming a rock star through its doors.
But let's take a look. So you can see golf.com. Caitlin Clark is a big fan of threes no matter what the sport. Madness. You have golf.com tweeting about her. So this is her talking about the Masters.
Clark's significance extends beyond her basketball talents. She's become a cultural phenomenon, transcending her sport just as women's athletics experiences unprecedented attention. Her presence brings millions of eyes wherever she goes.
She was also on a YouTube show on the Masters YouTube channel called Under the Umbrellas. And she talked about how invested all the fans are, all the celebrity, anybody that's there.
That's right. Wherever Caitlin Clark goes, all eyes follow. Naturally, she became the center of attention at Augusta and even sat down for an interview.
I'm talking about having no cell phones and how peaceful that is. I would love to go to this thing. I got to tell you right now. But how invested everybody is, how peaceful it is.
Clark shared that she was experiencing something at Augusta National that she craves deeply but rarely finds in basketball arenas: peace. When the Masters put her in front of the camera, she opened up about the one thing that sets Augusta apart from every court she's ever played on: the calm, the silence, the sense of being fully present. It made Augusta feel like an entirely different universe.
It's just so different than everything else. There's really just nothing like this. And I think, honestly, the aspect of like not having your phone is so unique. Like, you can tell everybody is so invested and they're really just there to watch the greatness of the athletes. And even even the golfers talking about it after their rounds, like they feel a different level of engagement from the fans too, and how invested they are, and you're really just living in the moment. And I think as a professional athlete, like you can empathize with that, and I think that's really cool. And then,
can you imagine what it's like to be Caitlin Clark right now? Cameras constantly in your face, millions of eyes watching every move, and the pressure of transforming an entire sport on your shoulders. But when Clark spoke to the Masters official YouTube channel, she zeroed in on something that makes Augusta National completely unique in today's sports landscape: the absence of smartphones.
I feel like a normal fan getting to follow on the course, and even talking to, like, I saw Josh Allen and Luke Combs and a few others last night. Like, that's what we all love about it, is like you're just one of the normal fans walking around doing all the same exact stuff, and there's just like a peacefulness about it. So I would put that up there at probably number one, because it's just so different. Like, there's really nothing like this. And
in a world where screens dominate every moment, Augusta National stands apart, a rare bubble where the rustle of pine needles replaces notification pings, and polite applause echoes across pristine fairways instead of camera clicks. Caitlin Clark, who's spent years under the brightest lights in women's basketball, found something deeply refreshing at the Masters: presence. It's such a nice way to get away from basketball and what your reality is every single day, she said, savoring the peace that comes from simply being outdoors, disconnected and grounded.
maybe the weather we're getting spoiled with is making me a bit biased, but it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and the Masters also attracts so much off of the golf course. You went to Noah Kahn last night.
Noah
I'm sure
Kahn.
there were
I'm
all
a big
sorts
Noah
of...
Kahn fan, so yeah, you can't go wrong. There's a lot of concerts, a lot of different things to do, a lot of people here that you get to meet, and that's what makes it really.
While arenas pulse with digital distractions and the pressure of performance, Augusta offers Clark a rare kind of sanctuary. For the #1 WNBA draft pick, it's not about more attention, it's about stepping away from it. She comes to one of the world's most prestigious sporting events not to compete, but to breathe. In that quiet, phone-free space, she reconnects with herself, not as an athlete or icon, but as a person in need of stillness.
There's a lot going on at Augusta when the Masters is there, obviously. And the ratings, that'll far and away be the largest rating, golf ratings of the year. And so it's an interesting watch. Everybody really pays attention to it.
For all the glitz and glamour we associate with professional sports, Clark's appreciation for Augusta's peaceful atmosphere tells us something profound about what athletes truly value. Not the spotlight or the acclaim, but moments of genuine connection with a sport they love, surrounded by fans who are actually watching instead of recording.
She would go on and make some more comments about the Masters and what it means to her.
This connection between Clark and golf isn't just a coincidence. It's actually part of a fascinating mental strategy she shares with one of basketball's greatest players. When Clark mentioned Steph Curry during her Masters interview, she wasn't comparing jump shots or scoring records. She was revealing the psychological blueprint they both follow to handle the immense pressure of basketball stardom. These two sharpshooters have discovered that stepping away from the basketball court and onto the golf course provides something their primary sport never could. Listen to this.
Such a nice way to get away from basketball and what your reality is every single day, and just to do something where you can like calm your mind and be away from people and be outside. I think one of my favorite stories is when Steph Curry, I think it was the playoffs, and I think it was the finals, they had just lost and he didn't play very, very well. And the next day they had off and he didn't want to go to the gym, he wanted to go to the golf course and just hit balls. And then the next day he came out and had like 45 points and shot really well. And
Clark and Curry turned to golf as their mental escape. These intensely competitive athletes channel their drive through a completely different sport. Golf offers a mental puzzle unlike anything on the hardwood.
I think it just shows like how nice of a calming aspect it is for professional athletes, but also the competitive side of it. You understand like this is an escape for us too. Like
basketball court surrounds players with noise, physical contact, and split-second reactions. Golf demands silence, precision, and patience. For Clark, this contrast creates the perfect mental reset. When constantly making snap decisions with defenders in your face and thousands screaming, there's profound refreshment in standing alone, calculating wind direction and green slopes. It engages an entirely different part of the brain while still satisfying competitive instinct.
I know MJ is really competitive with it. The stories about MJ are crazy. Like he would go play 18 and then show up to the game and drop 35. I could never do that. Like that's a different breed, but yeah, you find a lot of hoopers also like basketball too. You know, it's just such a welcoming community, and it's really fun for me to be a part of and to bring more eyes to golf. And then in return, you know, hopefully a lot of golf fans start watching women's basketball too.
What makes this connection powerful is how Clark actively works to transform golf culture. During her Masters visit, she emphasized her desire to introduce more people to the game. Her platform gives her a unique ability to bridge different sporting worlds, opening doors for others to discover what she's found there.
Because I always refer to her as the hybrid love child of Larry Bird and Steph Curry. That's just whose game Caitlin Clark's game reminds me of, right? Sort of the three-point shooting of both Larry and Steph, and of course the handles of Larry. Larry Bird was an unbelievable passer.
She follows a path blazed by basketball legends before her. Michael Jordan's golf obsession became legendary. His friendly rounds often transformed into psychological chess matches, complete with high-stakes wagers that revealed his competitive nature. Clark brings something different, appreciating golf as much for its welcoming community as for its competitive aspects.
I mean, Michael Jordan is notoriously famous for how cutthroat he was on the golf course, and how competitive, and I think maybe him and Charles Barkley started feuding or got into it. I know they used to play golf a lot because of golf. I don't know. Chuck?
Why are elite basketball players drawn to golf? The answer lies in the psychology of high-performing athletes. Basketball demands constant external awareness. Teammates, opponents, coaches, fans. Golf forces you inward. You confront your mental state without anyone else to blame or rely on. This solo challenge offers something refreshingly different for athletes who navigate team dynamics daily.
But I think this is real cool. The way she showed up here, how much she cares about it.
Clark's approach could reshape both sports. By bringing her basketball following into the golf world, she's potentially creating a new generation of fans who might never have considered watching golf. Her participation in the Augusta National Women's Amateur broke the internet. That crossover appeal expands Clark's influence beyond basketball. The mental strategy Clark shares with Curry reveals what sustains excellence in today's sports landscape. Forward-thinking athletes create balance through complementary activities that challenge them differently. In golf, Clark has found a mental sanctuary that might actually extend her basketball career by preventing burnout.
The fact that she names it the best sporting event and not some kind of women's basketball or something like that, nothing to do with the Chiefs or the NFL, she says it's the Masters. I think that's pretty damn cool. That's pretty cool indeed.
The brilliance of Clark's Augusta appearance lies in its cross-pollination effect. Basketball enthusiasts suddenly tune into golf, while golf aficionados discover the Clark phenomenon sweeping through basketball. It resembles two planetary systems that have been orbiting separately for decades, suddenly discovering their gravitational pull on each other. Beneath this spectacle lies something more profound. Clark's reception at the Masters represents a major shift in how women athletes are recognized across sporting landscapes. The barriers keeping women's sports in separate categories are beginning to dissolve. Just years ago, would a women's basketball player have received such attention at golf's premier event?
It would be very, very funny to see all the Indiana Fever players next summer just start golfing.
What Clark accomplishes, perhaps unconsciously, is normalizing the idea that women athletes deserve equal respect, attention, and crossover appeal that male athletes have enjoyed for generations. Each time she enters these traditionally male-dominated spaces and is welcomed as a peer rather than a novelty, she reshapes expectations for female athletes following her path. Most impressive is how Clark manages this cultural impact while preparing for her next basketball career chapter, making these barrier-breaking moments appear completely natural.
Whereas at least in these other sports like golf, it's been an established sport for how long. They know what they can do to get viewers. They can bring people on to a show and they know it'll draw viewers. They know bringing Caitlin Clark into anything will bring in Caitlin Clark fans.
What we're seeing here is truly game-changing because Caitlin Clark is blurring the lines between sports in a way nobody expected. Think about it. Her crossover appeal brings new eyes to women's basketball while expanding golf's audience too. That's the power of Clark's influence. She's creating this perfect storm where basketball fans discover golf and golf enthusiasts gain appreciation for women's hoops. As she enters the WNBA, this relationship will only strengthen. Clark is becoming a sports ambassador, reshaping athletic boundaries. Can you imagine a future where sports cross-pollinate, creating a unified celebration of athletic excellence across all fields?